World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She was magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.
Greetings and welcome to another evening with Access Wealth Nation with Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, giving you that checkup from the neck up so you can be financially literate. And so, of course, this is the first session that we've had since Black History started, the month started, and I am just so elated that I stand on the shoulders of such great individuals. So I usually talk about someone who has made an impact, especially someone of color. And I'm thinking about so many that we can talk about. There's Reginald Lewis. And these are people you need to know who they are. Young men who have, and then I'm going to bring some women, but young men who held the helm, took the helm, and allowed us to learn how to trade. There was Traverse Bell. I've learned since then that I've been saying his name wrong. But first broker dealership with a seat on the exchange. These are important times that we really acknowledge those that, whose shoulders we stand on. And especially for me, because they opened the door so that I too can take a part of what Wall Street was about, and the fact that financial literacy is so important in our community right now. We have had some really serious situations that have taken place, and unfortunately, we can resolve some of it if we move our dollars other ways. Hey, Dr. Flo. So that being said, it is important that we bring information to our community, because if we know better, y'all know that we'll do better. And so that's my focus. Today, I'm going to be talking about a serious situation that has been happening called Secure 2.0. Now, I know many people have not heard about it. Why? Because we've got our community in particular has gone through a lot of situations dealing with the murders in our community. And I just got to say it. My feeling is that we have to become economically astute so that we're not relying about around other people to take care of our community and coming into our community and murdering us. Uh, and so, I thought about it even from the standpoint there was Emmett Till, and it hasn't changed through the years, all the list, all the way up to now. And I just keep looking about the fact of we marching and asking someone to give us freedom. That doesn't work. I think that economically, we last year spent 1.7 trillion with a T trillion dollars, which did not stay in our community. And money walks, talks, and has a life of its own. That's why it's called currency. It's an energy. And sometimes we've got to learn how powerful our energy is. Just a thought. So if you have comments, thoughts, statements, you can put them in the chat. If you have any questions, please share, because this is some deep information I'm getting ready to give you. And this is not all of it. President Biden signed this at the end of last year. And it's gotten, as far as I'm concerned, very limited information sent in the media. It should be like resounding, because it is going to change our lives. Those of us who are self-employed, those of us who work for someone, it's going to change those of us who are retired and are retiring soon. So this is a law now, which means that it can be enacted and will be enacted. And it's over a period of time. Many of y'all remember the beginning of the Secures Act, when a former president signed in and caused us a bit of a turmoil when it came down to taxes, and changed a lot of our tax laws, which will not have the opportunity to change back until 2025. We're in 2023. So we've got still a few years to deal with these tax laws, unless Congress decides to make a difference. But you'll know what happened with our Congress, and it's really crazy stuff going on now with the Congress and congressmen. But that being said, we have to take the power back into our hands as individuals who can make a difference. And so I'm going to give you some lessons today. This is a time that this is what the Soul City Network is all about. And I'm so proud to be a part of the Soul City Broadcasting Network, along with being broadcast out of WHCR 90.3 FM. Very important time to share knowledge, and not only share it, but act on it. There are things that are coming across the platforms and parameters of your job that you need to know when you see less money coming home, and what to do about it. So that being said, let me get a little busy on this, but forgot almost my little platform. You know the rules, and I really want to thank all of you who have read the book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker, by two of my associates. It is so important to get the fundamentals of how money works, because you can't do anything if you don't know what it does. You can't go into building wealth if you don't know the basics of how do you make your money grow. I was talking to one of my clients, and he was talking about his a CD he had, a certificate of deposit. That's putting money into the bank and you're letting them use it. Okay, and they all know the rule of 72. So the banks are making that money grow faster than what you've got. And he said that for, I think it's like, was that October to now? So that's like 6 months. And they're offering every 6 months to give him a 0.05% interest for holding his money. He can't take it out over that 6 months, but they've got the usage of it. We got to stop that. We've got to know better. There are investments out there all over the place that's doing so much more, and interest rates are moving higher and higher. Yes, the cost of money and borrowing money has gone up, but also the cost of savings money has gone up a bit. But obviously, the bank he's banking at didn't get the news, because that's ridiculous, of what we're dealing with. We've got to make our money grow. And I think that this act, the Secure 2.0 Act, has awakened folks, or should awaken people, to the necessity to save for their future, for retirement. It is, we don't have to make the decision, it's been made for us. I know every time the government makes a difference, we tell them we don't want them in our lives. Well, wake up, they're here, they're in bed with us. Okay, and by doing so, they're giving us certain rules that we are going to live by. So we either need to learn about them and see what we can do to work with them, or we just going to be blanked out. Okay, so got to learn financial literacy. So the first thing I say to you also is that if you don't have a plan, then you're planning to fail. You need a plan. And I don't think any more time in my entire career do I see the necessity for people to sit with a financial educator and a financial advisor. Now, they may be the same person, but you really do need that. Plus, even more so now, you need to have a tax advisor. Okay, you need a good lawyer also. But more so, you need a tax advisor, and not, I'm going to say it, not the factory where people get them in, get them in, get them out, get them out. You need to have someone who understands the laws and how they can work for you. Sounds like somebody and a former president said something like that. And it's true. We need to know. So I say that to say, yes, tax season opened up on January 23rd, and people came in looking for their refunds. I got a problem with this thing. I've told you through the years that refund mean I gave you too much money and then you got to get it. I'm trying to get it back. Not a good situation. Your refund means that you gave the government more money than they should have, and they're going to give it back to you, but no interest, no growth. Who does that? But in our communities, the advertisements are all over the place. And not only that, but it's also all over the place to get refund anticipation loans. Y'all know what that is? That means that they project what you're going to get as a refund, and then they let you borrow it at high interest rates. Sometimes it's in excess of almost 200%, but it's divided up, of course, over the course. So it's a smaller amount that you see. But the reality is any money that you have to pay to get your taxes done better be worthwhile. If you have a simple tax return, now you're talking to an accountant that's been in business for 44 years. Okay, I don't need the client who can go on and do the quick tax returns. If you have property, if you have a business, if you have situations with your children, and specific situations that need to be dealt with, these are the things that you need a tax accountant for. To do a simple return, you can get it done free at IRS. Now, back to that element is that, just to let you know one more thing, the government is quite interesting We got an information from IRS that if you had earned income credit, and those of you who are eligible for earned income credit, you know who you are. Or if you're getting child tax credit, last year you got child tax credit. This year you're going to get a child tax credit. A little less, but you're going to get it. Okay, so those of you who are eligible for either of those, guess what? If you filed, you will not see your refund till the end of this month. They've already stated it that those will be held. Those refunds are being held. Why? I don't know. They didn't give us an explanation. We're not worthy of getting an explanation. We just got to go along with the plan. There are people, those of you who have not even received your refund from last year because they were holding it. I've had situations where people had filed in March and they just got in December their refund. So the key is that I'm saying to you, things have changed. You have to get on board. So if you're looking for your tax refund to buy more, not to invest more, but to buy more, wrong idea. You need to sit with a financial advisor and get a plan put together. A plan for your 3 to 6 months. I'm not 3 to 6 years, 6 years to 10 years, and 10 years plus. I'm giving different time periods because people are living longer. But that being said, you need a plan. And of course, we'll provide you with a free financial plan with no obligation from Anaj Enterprises. Glad to do it. The key is once you get a plan, you got to implement. Planning is one and action is another. And a plan without action is nothing. So all you have to do is call our office at 646-375-2121 and just say, I would like a free financial plan, and we'll send you what type of information. We will have someone sit with you either on a Zoom or in person and get this information, get this plan set. Again, before I get started with the rest of the information is how money works, stop being a sucker. So all you got to do is send me a request on Anaj Enterprises Inc. That's ANAJ Enterprises Inc. Inc. at gmail.com and say, I would like to have that book. And we will mail it to you with no cost to you. We just want to get this information in your hands. This book has become the #1 financial literacy book in this country with over 500,000 distributed across the country and really internationally. Why I know that is because I took it even with me when we went to Senegal. So the knowledge is necessary, but action is power. Okay, I've chit-chatted enough. If you have any questions or comments or statements, please feel free to put it in the comment section. They will get it to me. So here we are on Secure Act 2.0. Let's talk about the first thing. This is for people who are in or near retirement. The biggest thing is what's called an RMD. That's a required minimum distribution. Now, many of the seniors that are out here, especially those who have reached the ripe, wonderful age of 70 and going up beyond, they will know what a required minimum distribution is. What the government says is you saved up your retirement money. You didn't pay taxes on any of it. As a matter of fact, you got a tax deduction as it was growing. You also let it grow tax deferred, so you're going to pay taxes later on it. So now you're 70 years old and you've got to now take a certain amount of money out because the government doesn't want you to die without them getting their taxes. I'm just being real. Okay. Well, that started off, and then this year, currently, they've made it instead of age 70, that is mandatory required distribution. If you're turning to that 70 age, you really have until 72 to start to take the minimum required distribution. But that's all of your retirement accounts, not just one. You can take it from one once you get that figure, but you got to add all of your retirement accounts. What was the balance as of December 31st, 2022? And then at that point, you must take your required minimum distribution. Now, here's one of the changes that's taking place. If you turned 72 in 2023, this year, okay, and you have scheduled the withdrawal, you might want to change that because you really don't have to take it at 72. You have till 73. You got an extra year. And that's why some people would look and say, well, why don't I want my money? It may be that you have your pension or you just started to retire, and therefore you've got your salary, your pension. You might have already started collecting Social Security. You might just have too much money right now and that extra money may be making your Social Security almost 85% of your Social Security taxable. So you may need some time to recoup and figure out, with your accountant and your financial advisor, how do I do this without giving most of my money to the government? Now, that being said, starting 2023, this year, there through the years, and it's been years and years of retirement accounts, it was mandatory that you take your required minimum distribution. If you did not take it, either through error or just didn't know, or just didn't want to pay it, didn't want to take it out, the rule has always been 50% of what you had to take out had to be given to the government. Yeah, this was the loan shark world. 50%. So if you were supposed to have taken $1,600 out, $800 had to be paid back to the government. Well, things have changed. For 2023, for failing to take out your required minimum distribution has been decreased to 25%. I think it should have been that way all along. Matter of fact, I think it should be less because people, number one, our seniors don't always remember things. Number two, they don't always understand it. That's all of America. So to have to take 50% of my money and I don't get to use it and I need to retire, too much going on there. The penalty will be reduced to 10% for IRA owners who did not withdraw their required minimum distribution. So that's something new for 2023. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that if you did, you can still go back and take it out so that the government won't give you a penalty. But again, more than ever, you need to have a good financial advisor and a good accountant who understands these laws. It's so important because the years are going on. Now, there's a thing called a Roth. That's a retirement account also, but that's on money that's already taxes have been paid. But if your employer has a matching situation for you from a Roth, then right now, starting 2024, and some people say, you're talking about 2024, we just got to 2023. Think about it, we in February. Okay, time is moving and it's moving fast. So you've got to catch up. And so 2024 will be here in a New York minute. So at that point, the required minimum distributions will be, if it's from an employer retirement plan in a Roth, it will be exempt from the required minimum distribution. Okay. But beginning immediately for the plans that have annuity payments within them and the participants have required minimum amounts to take, the excess annuity payment can be applied to the RMD. So this is all this stuff. You see how it gets muddled. Bottom line is, When you get to the point of your 70s, if you haven't set with a financial advisor, you need to sit with one, because they need to be able to guide you. And I don't know what the factories are doing, but those factories out there, I don't think they're sitting with individuals to make them understand how much. So consider when if you're turning 72 in 2023, consider when you take your first required minimum distribution, either you can have to do it by December 31st, 2024, or delay no later than April 1st, 2025. I hope you seniors are hearing this, because we don't even want to lose the 25%. But remember, if you delay taking your first required minimum distribution to April the 1st, 2025, you'll need to take two required. But that could help you, because you probably, if you're not working, it could help in a sense. You could take less, take more later. Okay. So just be careful. Okay. Now let's talk to the folks who are working. It's called catch up time. Now, for the longest, the government has had it where if you're over 50 years old, you'd be eligible to catch up on your retirement. Does anybody really know how much they need to have for retirement? A lot of people say, well, if I just get my salary, and the average baby boomer right now has about $50,000 saved for retirement. Let me tell you now, not enough. $1 million, technically not enough. If you have a retirement plan, if you have that and your pension and your Social Security, $1 million might help you, because if the rule of thumb was that you should take about 4% of it, which would be about $40,000. Have y'all seen what eggs cost these days? I just thought I might as well break down and talk. This is the queen talking. We just, talking face to face. Eggs, $7 for a dozen. Thank God I'm a vegan. $7 for a dozen eggs. Oh my goodness. So this is why, how you take your money so that you can survive. 67% of Americans today that are seniors or heading into their senior year are more concerned about outliving their money than dying. Death is kind of simple, but outliving and being able to eat, you can't even buy dog food or cat food. It's all so expensive. I just went to the store, bought 2 salads and bought some cookies, and it was $21. This is outlandish. Inflation, or what we call shrinkflation, because you pay more, but you wind up getting less. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because everything has become less. A loaf of bread is less. The eggs from the chicken, I don't know what that chicken, if anybody knows why, please email me. Why eggs have like quadrupled in cost? Did the chicken start producing gold? Somebody got to tell me something, because I still haven't figured that one out. The farmer's feed, I know, is one aspect, but this is ridiculous, the cost. So let's talk about the catch-up, the high catch-up contributions, because I'm telling you, you'll need to save for your retirement. There's no questions about it. If you made $1, you need at least 25 cents of it to go somewhere towards retirement. And guess what? It's about to happen for you. It's going to be mandatory. But anyway, the catch-ups have changed. So here we go. Starting on January 1st, 2025, individuals age 60 to 63 will be able to be participating in the catch-up and put up to $10,000. Now think about it, $10,000. Okay. That's about $833 extra a month that they're able to put away. Now that makes sense when you get ready to go to the bargaining table to ask for the raise, or if it's a case of where you're working for yourself. This is why so many people are now becoming entrepreneurs. They're not sure all that they do, but they do know that they get to keep more money. Yes, they do, if they have the right people and the right team. So at age now, if your age is 50 and older for 2023, though, right now, you can only put in 7,500 as the catch up for your retirement plan. So you still get the 19,500, but you can catch up by putting in more. Some people say, I want my money now. Think about it this way. When you put money into a 401k plan or a 403b or a retirement plan, think about what that really means. Is that you're lowering your tax bracket, which means you pay less in taxes. You're going to pay later. But the thing is that you're lowering. So sometimes it's better than changing your exemptions on your, on the job, the W-4 form, instead of changing the exemptions. Think about putting the money into your retirement account. The reason why, and this is definitely Dr. Yana talking to you, it is better in your hands later than Uncle Sam's now, because Uncle Sam not giving it back to you. So if you put it in your retirement plan, you reduce your taxes, and then you have the opportunity to at least have some more money for your retirement, because we are living longer. You realize that there are more people, I think it's 127,000 people in this country that are over the age of 100. And some of them are really spry and living well. So just think, what if I live longer? What kind of lifestyle will I, what's my lifestyle going to be like? Am I going to be healthy? Or do I have 7, 8, 9 pills to have to take every day? We better get aware. It's time to think. Okay. So I know this is going to sound like I'm talking with forked tongue, but it's the reality is that if you earn more than $145,000, and I know everybody, when we were coming into school and getting out, we know we had to make at least 6 figures. If we don't make 6 figures, we haven't made it. Well, you make the 6 figures, and then they put some caveats on this. Okay, so one of them is that if you make more than $145,000, all the catch-up contributions that you make at age 50 or older will need to go into a Roth. So what I figure is that not next week, so I got a special guest for next week, but the following we will be talking about the retirement plans. Why? Because you're being forced to look at your retirement. It can't be a few dollars. I have seen tax returns where somebody contributes $3,000 a year. What's that going to do? What is that going to do? With the market the way it is right now, and it has gone up, down, but if you catch the download, you get a chance to put more money in, and then you get it when it goes back up, it becomes more valuable. That's, buy low, sell high. So these are important things. I can't emphasize how important this is. Right now, your catch-ups are really kind of low. They're at just $1,000 on a catch-up on an IRA. And sometimes you can't qualify to put any money into an IRA. So you need to sit with a tax professional to see, can I contribute? At the end of the year, if when you file your tax returns, because we're in tax season now. And of course, we go all the way to April 18th before the tax season starts. So another thing, start to file earlier, because we don't know what's getting ready to go down the pipelines. And since the government's holding people's returns till February for just the people who need it more, which are those that get earned income credit or child tax credit, if they're holding their money, thought, Put your taxes in early, get them in. But starting 2024, and yeah, I made all these notes for you, there will be certain percentages that how you can catch up. So there's going to be so many rules and regs. It's going to be, if it's confusing for me, it's going to be confusing for a lot of folks. We've been doing this for years. So I say to you, pay attention. And especially if you're one who is going into a new job, because there's a lot of rules and regs that are going to take place for your new job. One of the things, if the job, because most businesses right now, small businesses and large businesses, are getting incentives to set up 401ks and 403bs, okay, to set up the retirement plans. They're getting incentives. That means they're getting money, all right? But also, there's another thing that's happening is that if you go into a new job and they establish a 401k plan, it will be mandatory for you to put in 3% of your salary. No ifs, ands, or buts. Every plan. And it also will allow the job to match that. So that's 100% return. If they give you 3% and you give 3%, that's 100%. It also will allow those people who are high income earners to be able to continue to add to their retirement and put money there. So these are things that, it's a whole lot of things, and we'll continue doing shows on the Secure Act 2.0. But these are the important things that I pulled out that I thought was more related to my market. There is a ruling on charitable donations. Okay, most of my folks are trying to give the donation to their family, like leave money for their legacies. But there are some people who would like to give, and that those have also come to a new change. But things that I do want to, people who earn, who through the years are got time for their retirement. They've got some time. So they've got time to catch up. So this is the automatic enrollment. So if you're in your 20s or your 30s and you're looking to prepare for your retirement, and it's probably not the first thing in your mind, okay, but they're going to make it so. You're going to have to, starting 2025, if this is a new plan, you're going to see that an automatic. It's just like how you see FICA, Social Security and Medicare tax come out your check. The only thing, though, this money can go back to you. I know they say Social Security comes back to you. That we may beg to differ a little bit. You don't always get the whole kahuna, but this you could. There will be also, and I'm looking for 2024, they are for the non-highly compensated employee. They can also have what they call an emergency savings plan that's going to be rolling out. This is for, it's 2024, and the contributions would be limited to $2,500, $2,500 annually. It could be lower depending upon the employer's situation, but by doing so, it is forcing you to save, and they're putting it into a vehicle that looks like a Roth, that they call it a Roth. So that means that it's kind of got an opportunity for you to get to it if you're over 50 years old. So this is just some of the things that are now for my young folks, paying your student loans, which that meant you didn't sit with me because we go find money for education. There's money out there, but we just don't know where to look. But anyway, student loan debt starting 2024. So we're in 2023. Starting next year, employers will be able to match employee student loan payments with a matching payment to a retirement account. So if you're paying $300 a month in your student loan, there's going to be $300 that the employer will be able to put into a retirement account. Now, this gives the workers an incentive to save while they're paying off their educational loans. Because that's one of the biggest complaints for folks who are in their 20s. I start my job, I got to pay my student loans. I don't have time. Even that's the better time that I should be able to save for my retirement. I don't have it. Well, here's you paying it off. The employer, this is a program that the employers will get the incentive to put money into a retirement plan for you. Next comes the 529 plans. Now, I know a lot of you don't know what a 529 plan is. It's an educational plan. It's a plan to pay for a child's education. Just in the Secured Act, the previous that was cleared in 2019, the way that the 529 plan works, you can put money into the plan for a child. You can deduct it portion from the state return, and the child could use it. Now, prior to last year, the child could use that money for when they get ready for college. Well, that's changed because now it can be used for kindergarten. I think it is kindergarten all the way to college. So if people put money, and again, we are a community type of country right now where families get together and they work desperately to make sure that these children can go to college. So if you're putting money away, there can be a group of you put the money away for the child's education. But that money, if it's a 529 plan, that money, if you didn't use it, the child didn't need it, because we got some brilliant children right now. So let's say the child did not use it for his education, didn't need it for grad school. Okay, usually, and then you look to see, okay, is there anybody else after them that the money can go through? Okay, no. All righty. Then what do? Well, the new law that after 15 years, the 529 plan is allowing us to roll that money into a Roth IRA for that beneficiary's future. So the money doesn't go kapooey, or you have to pay taxes. What does it say? At what age should a child start to find money for college? Can they fog a mirror, and did they just come out the womb? That's when you start looking for money to see what's out there. Do you know that there's a program called A Better Chance, that if you send your child who is going to high school, and we have some people in our firm that have gone through the program, but putting a little bit of money away in a program all the way, again, we have the cost of money and the cost of money. Putting a little bit away. Do you know that a person who's in their 20s who puts away about $150 a month away, when they get ready to retire, will have about $1 million, depending upon the interest rate that they're getting? Again, sit with a planner, because these are the things some people can say, I can do that. But for that same person who's 50 years old and is looking to put away for retirement, they got a smaller window, they're going to have to put away a few thousand. That's the difference. So that's why you need to read the book. Read the book. Once you get the book, read the book. Okay. And so, but this is an awesome time for folks to start to plan. So a child's education, there's so many programs out there that you can utilize to put money away for children. And the thing is that we don't want to just say, oh, well, we're just putting money away. Yeah, we want the child to have a good childhood, get some things. But all I know is I've seen children during, especially the holidays, it trips me out. People buy all of this big stuff for them. All these games, electronics and stuff, and then they start playing with the box. You know, so think about it. One good gift, and then put the rest of the money away for their future. Now, it doesn't have to be for education. It could be for their next business or their business venture. A lot of children are coming out with these fantastic ideas and concepts. So, you might want to think, you might have one of those geniuses. But this is something that is awesome. You can roll over and say over $35,000. So that means you let that money grow. And to be able to assist a child in preparing for college or internships or their own business. I think we do children a disservice when we tell them, oh, you're going to go get a good education, you get a good job, and then you're going to retire in 30 years. People aren't staying at work for 30 years. Even those that work for the city and the state and the federal government, they ain't staying for 30 years. They're moving from job to job. So sometimes you got to think about what's that thing that you can do at 5 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning. Let me do 7 because everybody don't get up that early. 7 o'clock in the morning, and you're still doing it at 7 o'clock in the evening, and you just are passionate about it. Now you got to find somebody who's going to pay you for that. And that's what entrepreneurship is about. Your passion, what you love to do, and get someone to pay you for it. That's how that works. So this is the secure part of the Secured Act. You can look online and see what this whole Secured Act, it was over 200 pages in the bill before it got passed. We need to pay attention. It's the Secured Act 2.0. It is going to affect our lives, but you either going to let it work for you, or you just going to let it work and hope something happens. Never let that happen. Make sure you know what's going on, and make sure you know what you want to happen. How much do you really, what's your number? Did you know that that's a very key thing? I'm glad that I just thought about it to bring that up. Every person has a number for their retirement. Some people think I can live off of $20,000, $30,000 a year and I'm good, And then some people realize the real truth when eggs are $7 for a dozen. I'm still not over it. And so what happens then at that point? How do I live? Do I not be able to buy good groceries and be healthy? Do I have to, because if you look at it, all the junk food places, the fast food places have all these deals, get a sandwich and a soda and fries for $3, $4. That's not a good, healthy meal, So what do I do to extend my money and make my money work for me? That's why it is so important that you get a plan, or you're going to plan to fail. And that's not necessary. You're going to, mark my words, you're going to live long. And as long as people don't come in our communities and shorten your life by doing stupid things. But on the natural, we have the rights. I remember National Geographic had a book, and I'm sure I'm going to find it. I have a copy of the cover, and it said, this baby had a cute little baby on the cover. And the cover said, this child will live to be 125. We're heading that way. But the question is not the life that we live, it's how that life is. What is it going to look like? So now we're at the stage of where we need to start to dream. We need to start to see what our life is. Are we going to be able to buy whatever we want to do, go everywhere we want to do? What is it that we see? Or is it that we're going to be penny pinching and trying to make ends meet? Or like what I see, bless their souls, in my neighborhood, the food lines. I have never seen anything like this. It's around the corner, up the block, just to get a week's worth of food. That's why I'm looking at today's world and they're talking about the billions and trillions of dollars spent on war items and stuff. When we got folks who are hungry that just want to eat. It's something when you see people, they used to say, can I get $1? Now they're like, can you just buy me some food? That's saying where we are in this world right now. We're in a terrible situation of where we are the only ones that can make the difference and take charge. Make a pot. I have a dear friend of mine, Gina Bardwell, who said, can't we make a pot of soup and we all get some bread and we share in it? That's part and part of our traditions. So I just say for the Secured Act 2.0 of 2022, I hope you learned something because this is very important. And it's more important that you take the time to sit with a financial planner or a financial educator. Bring your paperwork. So you got to interview this person because they got to know what they're talking about. If you walk in when you talk to them on the phone and you said, well, what's your impression of the Secured 20.2 Act of 2022? And they go, what? Run. Okay, because they're not going to be able to help you. Okay. If they say, well, it depends on what you have in your portfolio, then maybe we can, help to mitigate some of this issues that are going on. Now you got to say, how many people do they work with? Do they have enough time to work with you? Do they have a staff that can work? Because you got, just like the doctor's office, you have the same situation when it comes down to the financial advisor's office. You get to sit with someone, but that financial advisor, the key one, like myself, will sit with you and see once all the information is taken, then we get to set up the plan. And that's what's so important. That, and again, they got to have some knowledge, even though most financial advisors are not accountants and don't know a lot about taxes, and they're told not to deal with taxation. They got to know something. Why? Because you could wind up with a big mess, and a big mess called IRS. And in New York, it'd be Auntie Hochul and Uncle Adams. All right. So you've got to be in a situation of where that's being watched. Okay. So that being said, we've had some good time to get today. I don't know if there's any other questions or anything, but the key is to do something. Put away for your retirement. If you have children and you're getting the child tax credit, okay, take part of it. Ask the person who's doing your tax returns, ask them how much was my child tax credit. And then at that point, take a portion of it, put it away for the child. That's why you got it. Okay. And then buy the eggs that you have to buy or whatever else. But put money away for your future, for your emergency fund. These are the most important things. Oh, thank you, Dr. Flora. Love you. Need to sit with you. I know we need to talk. But that's what we need to do. Why? Because it's important to build a strong financial household and to have it where we build from legacy to legacy. And while I'm bringing that legacy up, because that was another thing that happened this week with me. People have accounts. You have your pension account. You have your retirement accounts. All these accounts need to have beneficiaries on it. And you need to prepare for the inevitable that you may leave this earth. And if that's the case, do you have everything in order? Do you have a financial power of attorney before you die? Because once you die, that's out the door. Okay. Do you have a will? Okay, that enacts when you die. Do you have a plan for how people are going? Because families break up because of money when someone dies. So do you have those things in order? Again, it is so important. Don't be remiss, and don't be a part of the largest nation in this world. You do not need to be a citizen of it. Y'all know what the largest nation in this world is? Procrastination. Don't be a procrastinator. Get busy. Get the book. Read the book. Schedule a financial needs analysis with somebody, a discovery call. Our office is open to you. Then once you get the plan, enact the plan. These are the things that mean the most. I want to thank you for your time and your effort. Yes, to get the free financial analysis, just call 646-375-2121. And even if you're needing some help or you got into a tax situation, call the office. We'll see what we can do to help you. If it's a possibility, we will do this. And then also get the book. And that's by sending an email to anajenterprisesinc@gmail.com. How money works. Stop being a sucker. We're no longer suckers. We're smarties. The company that makes the Dum Dum candy also makes Smarties. So therefore, you got a choice there. So that being said, my time is up. I appreciate you all. This has been wonderful. Love you too, Dr. Flora. We got so much to do. We got the world to change, and we can do it. And as a metaphysician, I'll say the way that you change the world, it starts with a thought. I hope you learned something today. Thank you again. And be safe, be careful, but plan for the best in your life.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is magic.